Hey, Lou. Irma Garrett. Okay, good morning, everyone. I show 0700. My name is Paul Carlos, Plan 6 Chief Trainee for Incident Management Team 1, and this is the operational briefing for the west zone of the Dixie incident for September 8th, 2021. If I get everybody to mute their phones, take any sidebar conversations outside of the briefing area, I'd appreciate it. We'll start off with incident situational update, night ops.
Good morning, I have no picture. Good morning, Magnus Johnson, Incident Management Team 1, Night Operations. Kind of an eventful day yesterday, just as the preceding days. Some areas some areas not so much. We had some stuff to pick up in the winds yesterday inside here in this finger, moving up into the Shasta sector in Branch 13. The fire decided to get up on Badger in sections 4 and sections 5, so we've had to do some work in there, putting some line down and around to keep that in check so it doesn't move off into the old station area. First day of in Division, Lassen sector in Branch 16 in Division Quebec and Romeo, that they didn't have anything come out. They had no spots. They're in there beating that up real hard, trying to keep that thing in check. Sierra, Silver Lake area, everything good. Sierra, Tango, Union, all good. Calls for service in here. Stover Mountain had some stuff come out in the wind yesterday. Didn't come outside the lines, just stood up and showed itself presentable to the general public and everybody going by. Same thing in the Mountain Meadows. Mountain Meadows, because it's a peat bog, basically. We have stuff that keeps showing itself in there. Not a threat to the line, but in there and readily visible. Yesterday in the Westwood sector and down into the Junction branch, down at Junction branch, it decided about 8 o'clock last night to come off there again, and we did have to close 395 for both public safety and the safety of the first responders in there. It just shot across there, blowing tumbleweeds and fire to the other side. Was checked up small near those round irrigation fields. Outside of that, no injuries, everything good. End of report.
Management and control objectives have not been changed. You can refer to your 202 in the IEP if need be. Weather.
Morning, Ben Bardas, instant meteorologist. Today's going to be another hot, dry day on the fire with this high pressure system to our east still holding firm. So we're looking at temperatures up at elevation, upper 80s, maxing out at 90, down in the valleys, mid 90s at the most, more like low 90s. Here in Susanville, and down southeast towards Janesville, down that valley, that's been the hottest part of the fire. And just where people are working. So expect that to get up to the mid 90s today if you're going down that way. Relative humidity is going to be 10 to 15% minimum this afternoon, pretty much everywhere. As far as winds go, we're looking at those terrain-driven winds again today for most areas of the fire, especially that northern section where we have a lot of terrain that's pretty complicated to work in. And we're looking at a higher increase in wind speeds for ridge tops, though, looking at maybe 6 to 12 miles per hour, gusts to 20 this afternoon. That's going to be out of the southwest, so a heads up for that we will see a slight increase in wind speeds today. And still looking at some enhanced wind speeds down southeast on the escarpment in the evening hours today, so expect a erratic wind pattern down there throughout the day as well. Lastly, the smoke. Since we have some increased winds today, expect that to get scoured out a little bit more and get some good visibility this afternoon. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Fire behavior.
morning, Don Watt, Fire Behavior. So, big thing today, another warm, dry day. We have the clearing already. So that's going to increase fire activity early in the day. So some things to start thinking about, we mentioned it over and over again. This fire has been here a long time. So all that treated fuel where it didn't burn, the complete canopy is fallen to the ground. You have needle cast, you have leaves coming down. That's creating a whole nother fuel layer across this section where we have this black line. It's rebuilding its fuel. So if there's any roots or any stumps that are continuing burning, as that builds back up, you have that potential for fire to come back through. Other thing is if you have something hot and it gets back in there, you still have the potential for the canopy to burn in some of the high winds with slope and wind alignment. Up on the top here, it is starting to transition from some of that snow brush into the heavier fuel. So you're starting to see some of those timber stringers starting to get active. That's going to increase your spotting potential. The winds, a little bit higher today. Short range spotting to mid range spotting. If you get any kind of column build, that will start to exacerbate the spotting. As you move over, this is looking really good today. It's still going to have that wind on it. So the big thing is to keep looking around you. Make sure there's nothing spotting across the line. There's no fuel that's coming up to the line that has a chance to torch out and create that spotting potential. The winds will be higher today. They will stay a little bit longer into the evening. So just be prepared for that, especially on the 3995 corridor where we don't have that smoke production. It's heating up in the valley. We're starting to see those winds push down that slope. You'll have some of those winds battling across the face of the slope. So be prepared all day for different changes in winds. Remember, where you're working, take observations of the weather at that time and prepare for the rest of your day on how it's going to change throughout the day.
Operational work assignments, operations.
Good morning, Mike Wink, operations. So we're going to start here in Branch 9. Branch 9 continues to have multi-acre fires, almost a 10-acre fire yesterday and the day before in proximity, either within the black or right on the edge. So just the folks out here, don't think just because it's all black in here that the tactical patrol isn't critical. We're having calls for service. They flew tankers and helicopters over here yesterday on a piece that was on the fire's edge, but still within the control line. So you got to be out there and moving around. Your piece is just as critical to hold as everything else that's going on out there. So please get out there, do that tactical patrol. The last 2 days have shown that today could bring another piece of activity of something that gets active that you're going to have to take action on. So watch your 6, stay moving, watch for that activity out here. We get up here now into Shasta Sector, Branch 13. Really, really critical piece. We've had some fire growth in there. We have a lot of local leadership in there. We took some resources from other parts of the West Zone, put some additional crews, some skidgens, more engines, more water tenders, more fuels reduction capabilities, moved some stuff from other sectors and other branches in there to try to load you up. Because we've got today for you guys to get things in place and make some good progress, which I know you're going to do. We're out there to support you, do additional fuels reduction, work on that fire's edge, get some more perimeter in there, because you just heard we have some days to come of some unsettled weather that are of concern. It can bring some battling winds and bring fire in different directions, okay? So this is number 1 on the fire today, okay? So fuels reduction, continue to prep up here, have a presence up here, make sure you know these areas, as well as working on this line. We gave you extra resources today. They're in the Shasta sector. Lassen sector. Branch 16, yesterday was the first day in 10 days of no spots. I've been saying 2 days with no spots, then we can back off on the contingency lines north side of 44. So big news in Branch 16 is they're going to triple or quadruple the boots on the ground. So California National Guard crews with CAL FIRE leadership are here today. Thank you. Welcome. We're very happy you're here. We need your help. We got to get you guys out on the line, get out there gridding this. That allowed us to take those Type 1 crews and move them over here. We have this critical need. We've got to get some line in over here. So anyway, National Guard crews. Every crew has an engine paired up with them. Consider yourselves a module. It's listed that way in the 204. Work together and get this gridded out. We don't want any fire growth in here over the next couple days with these battling winds and the conditions changing. So good news there. We also have the fire train, using it in a different way. We started yesterday to fill water tenders. The rail service is committed to working with you guys to go multiple times a day to fill up that train with 30,000 plus gallons of water. So those water tenders have a quick turnaround. Okay, get out here to the rail, get back in here, support you guys and mop it up. More water on the fire, more boots on the fire. Great plan for today. A lot of good cooperation from multiple agencies. Okay, coming down here into the Westwood group, the Highway 36 corridor had 15 acres out here in the meadow in that peat moss. You know, it's warmer, drier, more sun on everything. That's no threat to the line. Not a lot of critical infrastructure in there, but still highly visible. It's going to be calls for service. It's going to be an ongoing item, just like the rest of the peat moss stuff that's been burning in there. As we get down here in the Janesville branch, lot going on down in there. Just as a reminder, we are here in the East Zone, working with our East Zone partners, working together on the plan on this piece of the 395 on the East Zone and up above the escarpment, okay? We're going to start up top, on the top of the escarpment. We've got hand line, dozer line, and hose lay all along this top piece for the Walker Fire burn scar, almost all the way to the escarpment. So continue those efforts with these wind conditions changing, the weather changing. Well, we have multiple catcher's mitts in here with dozer line, okay? But we don't want any of this to come out and threaten all the good work that's been going on for the last month between Janesville and Milford, where we're trying to hold it right there. As we get to the edge of the escarpment, the East Zone is looking at putting in 3 Type 1 crews to come off the escarpment and chop that off direct right behind the Valero station for those folks driving up and down the 395. We got the mobile retardant base that's going to be keeping it in check. We continue to do ground application of retardant from the motorcycle track where the line comes off of Black Mountain down to the motorcycle track all the way down to the fire's edge. You heard him talk about the last 2 nights. We've had fire activity that's impacted the highway. Okay, the normal pattern of weather on the 395 that we've shared with us when we all got here was 2 or 3 in the afternoon is when the winds really pick up. Well, since the last week, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it's been calm. It's been from 8 to midnight where things have really picked up and been active. So that is a little different scenario. If you see blue skies over Honey Lake today with a little bit of warming and drying, we could get back into that normal pattern of 2 or 3 o'clock. You'd see that increased activity. So have your head on a swivel, have your pre-plan, get out there, get that ground application of retardant, and be ready for anything to poke up and start threatening the line and get across those dozer lines. Okay, so those are your work assignments for today. So who has their everybody has their IWI cards, right? We talked about how this incident, while it all fits on one map, is multiple counties and takes over an hour to drive from one end to the other. So really critical, if you have a line emergency, whether it is a true IWI or just a medical emergency, don't wait for help to come. Move towards help. Give all the information on this card, front and back, know it. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you have a secondary plan. Make sure you know about air resources or ground resources. And make sure you know your alternate communication. So the cards given out this morning, there was one card that had some green dots on it. Who's got that green dot card? Raise your hand. You got the dot card. Safety officer's coming over. You get a Visa gift card today. Everybody should have these cards in your vehicle, in your Nomex, in your uniform shirt. Give them to your friends and family. Give them to the people back home, handing out hundreds of them a day. Everybody should have that. Everybody needs to know a plan. One more thing. Everybody here is a leader. Whether you're the leader of that water tender or that dozer or whatever you're doing, you are the leader of you, and you need to make a difference today because we've got changing weather. So look for opportunities for you to do that. Remember, your job is not to be ready. It's to be. I forgot what my thing was. Don't get ready. Be ready. Have a safe shift.
Sector, branch, and divisional roll call. Resources.
Good morning, Jordan Weber, Resources, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. If you'll join me on page 2 of your IAP, your ICS 203, as there's some updates and some changes. For sectors, branches, and divisions, when you hear your name, please stand. Starting in the Shasta sector, Fields. Here. Branch 9, Smith. Here. Division Juliet, Rambo. Here. Branch 13, this is our first change, Wills. Here. Division November, Oscar and Papa are briefing at the Hat Creek Spike. And for the Shasta contingency, Stornetta. Lassen sector, Prather. Branch 16, Petro. Division Quebec, Costa. Division Romeo, Milovich. Trainee, Carey. Division Sierra, Glockner. Laschen contingency, Pangburn. Westwood sector, Benenhoven. Westwood group, this is a change, Nelson. Milford group, Darnell. Antelope group, this is a change, Himmelrich. Junction group, Niedenberger. Trainee, Rushing. Lassen fire suppression repair, Hauser. Thank you, have a safe day.
Air operations.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Hill, Air Operations, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 1. To support the operation today for fixed wing, we have Air Attack flying up early in support with a couple S2s. Rotor wing, helicopter-wise, we have 14 Type 1 water droppers and 3 Type 2s. Guard 841 will be your 24-hour ALS hoist ship. We also have one mobile retardant base down by Herlong. And then make sure you guys are monitoring air-to-ground command. That's mainly for divisions and above. And then everyone else, you guys are doing a great job, but monitor that air-to-ground TAC. And please clear those drop zones so we can make it a safe shift. Thank you.
Communications.
Good morning, Prince Wilkerson, COMEL trainee. Today, Wednesday, September 8th, there's no new clones. In your IAP today, the West Zone 205 can be found on pages 39 and 40. The East Zone 205 can be found on page 41. If you're experiencing any type of interference as far as frequencies or anything like that, be sure to follow the chain of command so the information makes it back to communications. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to stop by communications. Have a good day.
Medical.
Good morning, Race Wickless, Medical Unit Leader. Today your 206 can be found on page 43. As always, we have CalMat located to your left. They can take care of any in-camp medical needs, supplies, and also anybody that wants to get tested for COVID. We have medics assigned to branch 13 and 16 today. REMS module will also be available for 24 hours in branch 13. And as always, there are 3 places for you to find your line emergency procedures. Number 1 is the lower half of your 206 in box 8. The laminated cards that operations talked about, we hand out 250 of those a day. So every day, make sure you grab some, make sure everybody in your crew has one of those cards. And also page 118 and 119 of your IRPG has that 8-line information. Thank you, have a safe shift.
Safety.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Brad Niven with Safety. So for today, just want to talk about a couple quick things. One is your process. We've been here for a really long time. We've been doing things the same way for a really long time, 20, 30, 40, 50 days. Now is not the time to start cutting corners on your process to save a little bit of time. The last couple of days, we've had a couple of very minor little incidents, accidents, whatever you want to call them, that could have resulted in great bodily injury to folks because we're starting to cut little corners. I want to save 5 minutes here. I'm late over here. I need to get over here. Keep doing things the way we've been doing them. Keep your processes in place. Don't start cutting those corners. Let's avoid any of those accidents that might come from that. Next, COVID, keep it up. Wear a mask if you need to. If you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable, wear a mask. If you're not feeling well, please, right over there with CalMat, go get tested. Let's not let one person derail an entire crew. It's real simple. Go over there and get tested. If you need any kind of supplies, if you want to get a mask, if you want some hand sanitizer type stuff, CalMat, same place to get that too. Thank you.
Information.
Good morning, Mitch Matlow, Public Information for California IMT 6. Please turn to page 52 in your IAP. I've got some new numbers for you. We're currently at 922,192 acres, 59% containment, 4,752 personnel on this incident. If you have media on the line with you, please give us a call at the media number. We'll come out with a PIO if we can to assist you. Remember to follow the social media policies for both CAL FIRE and the federal government. Those are available through the QR codes in your IAP. If you have pictures and videos that you'd like to use for your own social media, please run them by the PIO shop first so we can vet those. Mail and lost and found are still available up in the front trailer. It's mostly unstaffed right now, so it's an honor system. That's the end of report. Have a safe shift.
Training specialist.
Good morning, Shane Galvez, Training Specialist, IMT 1. Please turn to page 57 in your IAP for your training message. For 65 trainees that are currently assigned to the incident that have not checked in with training, you have until this Friday at 11 o'clock to check in. For all trainees that are checked in, you have until Saturday at 11 to check out with training. For the trainers, on the training message, it refers to the documents you will need to fill out. For the trainees, it refers to the documents you'll need to bring with you to training. My contact information is at the bottom of the training message. Thank you.
Final comments, Unified IC.
Good morning, everybody. Chris Waters, Deputy IC here on Team 1. First of all, looking out here in the audience, I'm seeing a lot of people that are paying attention, and I want to thank you guys very much for paying attention to this briefing, especially Chief Wink. Took a lot of my thunder, but I want to emphasize a few things from the ICs that we really need to pay attention to today. Number one is transitions. We're going through some transitions here. First of all is weather, and if you look very closely at that weather forecast, the weather is changing. When we get ventilation, when the sky's clear around here, that fire is going to want to pick up and take off again. So that's been the tradition around here for the last 57 days. So 57 days on a fire that's 50 miles wide, 70 miles long. That puts it between Rhode Island and Connecticut in size. Highly complex environment, and while that forecast that's in your IAP covers the entire fire, you got to remember that we're working in an area with 4 locally fairly unique weather patterns, so make sure you guys are briefing on the weather. The safety officer covered some things that were really important as well, and keep that in mind. I want to emphasize the importance of the line emergency procedures and training on that, and making sure that you know it by heart. Know it by heart. I want you guys to have a safe shift, be safe, and anticipate change as the day continues. And thanks again.
Okay. Next operational briefing tomorrow morning, 0700. Unassigned resources at the back table. Your breakouts, same location along the perimeter of the briefing area. Thank you. Have a safe shift.